Young ladies and gentlemen, good day to all of you. Once again, you are welcome here on the Tribune of Awakening Consciousness. So, in the international news headlines, American President Donald Trump is in a kind of real disruption. A disruption due to the fact that he is facing situations for which he was not expecting. He really did not expect what he is currently seeing and experiencing. So, it puts him in a position of threat here. Threat there. In truth, the gentleman is confused. At the moment, he no longer knows what to do. After the threats he made against Vladimir Putin, threatening Russia with increasing tariffs against Russia. In case he could not find an agreement for a ceasefire for Ukraine. That is to say, if Russia, whether at fault or not, if there was no agreement, he says it is Russia that would be responsible. And so he was going to severely sanction Russia. After that, he targets Volodymyr Zelensky. He threatens him. And we know, after all, with Zelensky, it was to be expected. It's natural, since we all know Volodymyr Zelensky. But this time, why is he threatening Zelensky, and what is the reason for this threat? In the context of this video conference, that's what we are going to talk about. But before continuing, I ask you to share the video conference as much as possible. Share it in all possible groups. Especially give it a lot of likes. That's what it's about. So, Donald Trump threatens Zelensky. And what is the threat about? What is the threat about? First, the reasons for the threat. You know, the first agreement they sent to Zelensky was an agreement that suited Ukraine. But afterwards, Donald Trump modified the general terms of the contract, thus the agreement, which even led to strong denunciations by Zelensky. Zelensky had said he would not go to Washington to discuss this agreement, since every moment the general terms of the agreement are changed. But this new modification which has occurred is about what? Then the new agreement is unbearable for Ukraine. In the new agreement, the text of the new agreement state that the amount Ukraine received from the United States of America in the form of military aid under the Biden administration is a debt. This is where the sticking point is. This is where it gets heated. Yet in the first test, Donald Trump had not said it was a debt. And when the Biden administration was sending this money, the Biden administration had not said it was a debt. It was a gift. It was a donation made to Ukraine. And even the official announcement stated that it was a donation. But while Biden was making this donation, Donald Trump, who was in the shadows, not yet in power, was hurt by it. He even went so far as to say he's the best salesman in the world who comes to collect our billions and leaves with them. And so this is the thought that is in Donald Trump's mind. He wants to recover all that money. And economic experts have evaluated everything. It goes up to $120 billion. So, Zelensky says no, he does not agree with it. Zelensky starts by saying that Ukraine has never received debt from America. Everything Ukraine received was to help it. So, let's delve deeper. Zelensky is completely opposed to this idea. And so, Zelensky does not want to accept. This is how Donald Trump threatens Zelensky. He threatens him with serious problems. If he refused the mining resources deal. Now, the mining resources deal. This is the deal we are talking about. Initially, it was supposed to be fair, the mining resources deal. Then, after having 2 glasses of whiskey, the American president posted on social media to say, well, America is interested in Ukraine's energy infrastructure. So the other one, on his side, he took a bit of joy. He sat down and said, well, that would be very good. If America took our energy infrastructures, it would know better how to protect them. And then afterwards, Donald Trump calls his team and says, well, introduce that into the contract. Make sure that in the contract, we have the exploitation of minerals, but it is conditioned by the use of Ukrainian energy infrastructures, now having to pass, under the total control of America, and which would be a vector that would favor the exploitation of the mineral. Donald Trump's experts put that in the agreement. And that's what he says he disagrees with. So, what needs to be said? Then, American President Donald Trump stated that the Ukrainian president wanted to abandon the agreement on Ukrainian mineral resources. He also added that if Zelensky acted this way, he would face serious problems. But the exact nature of the problems remains unknown. He did not say what the exact nature of the problems would be. Zelensky wants to abandon this agreement. But the position, the stance that Donald Trump is using, it is understood to be a regime of force. Either Ukraine gets in or Ukraine gets in. There is no half measure. Yes, it's the devil's pact. You started it, you will finish it. So, then, the United States is proposing a new agreement concerning Ukrainian minerals, as well as oil and gas. So, everything related to Ukraine's wealth is included in this agreement. Oil, gas, without offering any security guarantees in return. Here is the problem. In the new agreement, there is no security guarantee. Donald Trump is making sure to recover all the money America lost on Ukraine. That's all. And Ukraine, Zelensky, by accepting the first agreement on minerals and rare earths, he had said yes, the goal, provided that America ensures our security. But America cannot provide a security guarantee for Ukraine. If America tries to do so, it indirectly triggers a conflict with Russia. America declares a conflict with Russia. This is where the situation becomes very complicated. So, according to the Financial Times, which reports that Washington was considerably broadening its demands. And it's obvious Washington is significantly expanding its demands. And that's why Zelensky also refuses. He refuses and Donald Trump threatens him. If he refuses, he will have serious problems. Of what nature? He did not say. So, Kiev plans to modify the agreement, demanding, in return, an increase in American investments. So, what Kiev initially asked for, Kiev wants to go beyond. In case, however, they are forced. But everything suggests that Zelensky wants to withdraw from this agreement. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the International News Roundup. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I will be back shortly with more news. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.